So guys, this is the first step in building the engine. It's going to be a 1776 69mm stroke. First thing to do is to mate the flywheel to the crank. Now this is it's a Brazilian OEM flywheel made by Volkswagen in Brazil. And this is a CB Performance counterweighted crankshaft. Like I said, it's a 69mm stroke. And so the first problem I have with this is the eight dowel pin, the 8 dowel pattern. I believe it's called the SPG pattern. It's like a standard eight dowel pattern. Did not line up perfectly with my dowel pins. And I tried pushing on light taps with a dead blow hammer. Didn't work. So I found this dowel here I marked with red, which mates to this dowel over here, was off. So I ended up drilling that out a little bit. Still wouldn't go on. So after researching online the Samba and other forums and stuff, I realized a lot of people have the same problem. Mating one manufacturer's flywheel, in this case Volkswagen, to an aftermarket crank, in this case CB. I've heard a lot of great stuff about CB Performance. I got pretty much my whole engine kit from them. But just didn't work out. So the plan now is to drill these 11/32 oversize while it's mated to the flywheel. So what I did was I drilled every hole slightly until I get the thing to drop on. So I'll show you that in a minute. So here it is. It's on the flywheel. Flywheel's on the crank, I mean. But I have a little bit of play. So I'm going to do this without dropping it. Got a little bit of play here. Doesn't look like much, but just that a little bit. Downshifting, accelerating on a high horsepower motor, but even on a stalker, you run the risk of breaking or shearing off the dowel pins. So what I'm going to do now is I took an old gland nut I had and I ground it down, because a regular gland nut you won't be able to get access to the dowel pins because you'll be covering and obscuring most of the dowel pin, half the dowel pin. So I ground this down. I'm gonna thread this in. Okay, just hand tight. Now, as you can see, I have plenty of room on almost all the dowel pins to drill them out. So before I drill these oversize, I need to remove these. It's too close in between to get a dowel pin remover tool in there. I don't have one anyways, but it looks like the tools are fairly good size and won't fit between the other two dowels. So I'm going to try and do is drill center line, 3/16 hole through the whole dowel. Then I'm going to try to pull it out with a vice grip. I've already tried it beforehand, did not work. If I can't get out with a vice grip, I'm going to try a method I found on Samba. I think Maddock had an idea. What he did was he drilled it through and then he put some gear oil in the hole with a little syringe. Then what he did, I think he put a drill bit, the backside of a drill bit, or a 3/16 steel pin in that hole. And as he tapped it in, created hydraulic pressure, which pressed the dowel pin up. So I'll see which one of those works for me. So I'm going to set up the drill press, put a little jig on there, and see how it goes. Here's a nice close view of the drilling. So I got those three done. That one there is a little oversized. I need to drill it out to a bigger size later. But working out. So in the beginning of this, if you guys didn't see the beginning, none of the dowel holes lined up in the flywheel to the crank. Flywheel was drilled at one place. The crank was manufactured for the place I bought it from, and they did not line up. So I drilled out every hole slightly, one by one, trying to fix it. This one here was the worst. That was pretty much made it off, and I opened that up another 30 seconds bigger than what I'm doing now, almost 3/8, and it still wouldn't go on. So I ended up drilling every hole a little bit slightly. So what happened at the end was the whole flywheel was loose. So now I'm match drilling the flywheel to the crank. I cut all the I couldn't get the pins out. I tried numerous ways. I could not get there was not enough space between the dowels to get a pin remover in there. So I cut them off, ground it flat. Now I'm drilling through the flywheel into the pins. And I got a carbide cutter here. It's called a die drill. It has about a 1/4 inch carbide cutter at the bottom, and then the flutes that run up are actually just a little undersized, just brings the shavings up. And this is the only thing I found that drilled through those hardened dowel pins. So I'll bring you back when I finish up.